What's up, fellas? Welcome to Football Friday on Pick Central. We are live in the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel, and we're presented by the great folks of Fireball. Sometimes life can get serious fast, and adult responsibilities can become overwhelming. But everyone needs an excuse to let loose and have some fun during the moments of stressful adulting and letting yourself have some fun. Fireball Whiskey is here to help you say F it and free your fire. Fireball takes any of it to the next level, whether it's a mundane work happy hour, a crazy pregame, or just watching football with some friends. Fireball is all about flipping the script on life and turning everyday events into ones you'll be telling stories about for years. Fireball's iconic cinnamon flavor tastes fire and goes down easy, making it the ultimate crowd pleaser. That's why it's the #1 shot in the United States of America. The Fireball 50-milliliter shooters are perfect to ignite a pregame tailgate or darty. Plus, no shot glass needed. Just crack it and knock it back. So next time you're deciding between adulting and fun, say F it and free your fire with an ice-cold shot of Fireball. And Rico Bosco will have his Fireball F it pick of the day later. All right, we got a pretty good crowd in here for a Friday. We got Marty Mush. How are you doing? How was the Rutgers trip yesterday?
Rutgers trip was great. I went to the practice and meals by Kuj. Let me tell you, this guy's a star. I was outside a pizza place before to do a video with him. Traffic was stopping. People were getting out of their cars. They would stop their car in the middle of traffic and go take a picture with them. This guy is it's unbelievable. But yeah, it was good stuff.
Awesome.
You got that much the line bump.
Yeah, he had like 70. Remember when we had him on, Rico? It was like 70,000 followers. I think he had on Instagram. He's got about 700 now. Crazy.
Damn.
Legend.
Big Ev, how are you today?
Good. I could be better. I feel bad. I just had the right pick. It was on the Bills. Talked to myself. Well, everyone talked me off of it. My fault. Should have stuck with my guns. Bills look great. I mean, honestly, I think my biggest takeaway is more, I knew the Bills would be good. I'm very concerned about the Rams. I know it's week 1, but Stafford's. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the broadcast, everything they were saying about his shoulder, and that, not his shoulder, his elbow, all the stuff he's got to do like for throwing, that he basically has elbow problems that are similar to like what a pitcher would have late in his career. The amount he's got to like manage his throwing, just kind of a lot of the throws he missed and didn't have. He held the ball light.
Didn't they say that he's doing the same thing as like what Clayton Kershaw did?
He essentially, I mean, they didn't say it's Tommy John, but they basically just said he has serious, borderline chronic elbow problems. It'll be a thing for the rest of his career.
That makes sense the way he throws the ball.
Yeah, he does kind of have a little bit of a baseball.
And how many times he's thrown it like this, like he's throwing it sidearm?
It just was very concerning, like them talking about it and then watching him. And he wearing the sleeve. Now they're basically saying that he can't throw very much in practice in the offseason to basically be able to like sustain his arm for the whole season. Everything about it just didn't sound good. Everything that it looked that he just watching him play didn't look great. I mean, me and Ebo were talking about it before we started recording. That I mean, the only good throws he really made were some of those like 20-yard out routes to Cup. The touchdown pass, the one to Cup was a great throw, but I mean, he missed a lot of throws. I thought he held the ball too long, which the O-line didn't look. We talk about no boom, didn't feel in great for Whitworth, but I don't know. I thought for the Rams it was very concerning, even though it's one game.
Rico Bosco, Football Friday, how are you?
Good, yeah. Sloppy game overall, too. A ton of turnovers in plus territory. But I think we were talking about, like, if the Bills had 2 going in, if the Bills don't have that, they won by 21.
Absolute rout.
So the Rams
Bills didn't even play that well.
Three first-half turnovers for the Bills, and they were still tied at half.
It's crazy. So, I mean, listen, everybody's on the Bills. It's just one game, rightfully so. But sometimes the public can be right. The Bills are for real. So
I thought Josh Allen was. I thought he was in like the middle of. I thought it was February the way he was playing. I thought the way he was acting. I thought it was the playoffs. I thought he was so. You can, like Big Ev said, like he really. They are mad about last year. They want to show that they're the best team, and holy shit, he is the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback in NFL.
I think he is too.
The stuff. Okay, I had a couple quick observations from this game. First of all, Gabe Davis is a stud now. So you got Diggs and Davis. You got 2 elite guys, and they left Gabe Davis on that island, and he got that long touchdown. Man, he had 200 yards, 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs in that playoff game. With him and Diggs, I mean, you're up there for maybe one of the best combos in the NFL. And on the Rams side, I had a few observations. First of all, I feel like I'm an idiot. Ev, I know you said it. You switched. I mean, we all kind of thought the Rams could have some kind of a Super Bowl hangover, but when you really step back and look at it, they lost Von Miller. They lost Whitworth, who was a leader, Walter Payton Man of the Year, super stud left tackle. The guy that I thought was almost most disappointing last night, though, was Allen Robinson. He wasn't getting any separation. Their offense, like they were talking about on the broadcast, I mean, it was literally just Kupp. I mean, he had 13 catches for 128 yards, a touchdown. But I didn't see anything out of Robinson for defenses to be worrying. So everybody's going to start just triple team and bracketing Kupp. And how are the Rams going to answer it? Ev, your point about Stafford's, they said they had to shut him down for 8 or 12 weeks, not throwing.
It's very. As a Rams fan, I would think that would be extremely concerning. I mean, just think about it. If you're already struggling with the arm, it's week 1.
Yeah.
It was week 1, and your arm's like a problem. I mean, there's no time to rest now. You rest a little bit during the week out of practice still. I mean, you got new receivers who you need to get in rhythm with. Obviously, Kupp it's there, but everybody else is you got to And the other thing too is I think people have this natural Robinson's going to plug in for OBJ. He's not OBJ. He never was. He never will be. He had some really good seasons with the Bears early. I think people, because of his personality, like to kind of not give OBJ his credit about how good of a football player he is. The drop-off from OBJ to Allen Robinson is pretty substantial.
Robinson's just he's got good size, but he doesn't separate. He's not that fast. And
I don't know. Yeah, and also weirdly, maybe it's just the number or whatever. I feel like he looks small. I'm not saying he got smaller, but just visually, I feel like on the field, he just didn't look that same presence he had on the Bears, size-wise.
He's been not good for as long as he was good. Now you start to worry, hey, is it just not there anymore?
Yeah, he might just
I know he was hurt, but he wasn't. He hasn't been great in a while. So they're chasing. Hey, this guy might be an X factor. He could also be a dud.
Yeah.
The crazy thing too is that first of all, a lying bastard is McVay. He got asked about Cam Akers.
Oh yeah, I was about to go off on that.
And he's like, why didn't Cam Akers what happened with him? He's like, we just didn't get in too much of a rhythm. What? It was 10-10. It was tied at halftime.
He didn't start.
And he didn't start.
He didn't get a carry till the second quarter.
He didn't put him in.
And they didn't announce that at all. And, dude, that screwed Shay and me on our FF Pod parlay so bad because McVay didn't leak. That wasn't leak. I got a text from Shay 20 minutes before the game hey, Big Cat's here and the Akers is the backup. Blah, blah, and I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be a great way to start the year for our parlay.
I mean, it's just not.
I just feel
how can you say?
I mean, there's no way I could know
rhythm.
that. But there's no way I could have known. I mean, I do deserve it for trusting Akers, who was inconsistent and looked bad in the playoffs. But they fed him in the playoffs last year, and I thought after an offseason they'd come out and do it again. But
it's just
whatever. We didn't win anyway. So.
It's not even fantasy was because everyone fantasy. Yeah, everyone took him as almost a running back one. People were really mad.
My boy in our fantasy chat last night that had him was getting roasted.
Yeah, people were getting very angry.
We were roasting him.
I said stay away from him in fantasy this year.
But I just don't get how you can say there was no rhythm because you can. I mean, that's one, your fault. Two, you could still put the fucking guy in if it wasn't working when it was fucking 10-10. And I just don't get because Akers also came out saying. Before he was like, I'm healthy. I want to show everyone I'm healthy. I can't wait to show out. And he got one carry. It's what are we doing here? And
also, I didn't love the play calling by the Rams. I don't know if you guys noticed, it was driving me nuts. They ran the ball on first down, the first 6, 7, 8 first downs they had, I think. And I think now they're more talking about Stafford's arm. I think part of that was trying to take some pressure off him and just run the ball, but I mean, they were not having much success running the ball. And they were just so predictable. They just ran the ball on first down every fucking time. It was you got to throw the ball on first down. They were having more success throwing it. They were running it.
Did you see the kind of compilation of Aaron Donald of how fast he really is in getting off people, but how fast Josh Allen was getting the ball out?
Yep.
Allen was getting the ball out in 2.2 seconds.
Yeah,
I heard them talking about it.
Donald had no chance. He was beating his guys fast, but Josh Allen just knew. That's how good a fucking quarterback he is. He knows Aaron Donald's going to get in. You can't stop the guy, and he was getting it out so fast.
He was making some great plays just in those short windows where it looks like it's an easy throw, but it's between 3 defenders. He would just stick it right in his chest.
I saw, but from
the one they showed
side,
it, and I was glad they showed it.
Yes,
because there literally was 3 defenders right there, and it's if he doesn't stick that ball directly in his chest, That's either like a bad incompletion in the dirt, or it's like a pick six right here, like heading this way.
From the TV side, it looks really easy.
And he did that quite a few times. He even did it the touchdown throw to McKenzie. Even there wasn't 3 guys, there was 1, but the touchdown throw to McKenzie, he made a throw like that. And a lot of the early throws he made to Diggs were like very similar to that, where he was putting the ball in real tight windows, really quick, and making good plays.
Boys, we got a big college football card to get to. We're going to run through some of the main games. Feel like, add whatever if you got other games. If I pass a game that you want to talk about, speak up. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody about our promo this weekend on the Barstool Sports book. We've got it's for NFL through Sunday. So if you didn't use your $25 match parlay last night, do not forget any parlay that's 2-1 or more. It's a parlay plus same game. Up to 20, you get $25 match. So do not forget to do that on Sunday. Great offer from the Barstool Sports book. We're checking out the Parlay Pluses all season long. We'll get to the Friday games later. I know we all got picks for today, but we can save that for the end of the show. We're just going to start out right at the top. Bama's laying 20, 11 a.m. This is on Barstool Sportsbook. Bama, a 20-point favorite, over under 65.5 against Texas. Does anybody think Texas has a shot to fight here tomorrow?
What time's that game?
11 noon Eastern.
Noon?
It's the big game.
Got noon Eastern.
Fight, yes. Like a little.
Yeah.
I think they could look okay in the first half.
I
think it could go get 10 to 14 points. I would lean over. If we picked it on Pick'em, I'm probably going with Alabama because Alabama is ungodly. It wouldn't surprise me if Texas can go score some points.
I could see Texas getting some second half garbage time, like piling up some points like later in the game too, possibly.
Yeah, I could also see that too because they don't stop. But didn't we talk about this about last year? Alabama's was almost like a rebuild year, and they made it to the championship and they just have everyone back pretty much. And I just when you see 20, it's almost like that's a lot of points, but it's Alabama. There's a reason why it's 20. I think you have to go with Alabama. You're not gonna be comfortable taking Texas.
I think Alabama's the play. I think they smash them.
I'm not going to. I made the idiotic mistake of taking Utah State in 42 last week, and I got exactly what I deserved. Blake Anderson, Utah State's coach after the game, said he's been coaching football 30 years. That's the best football team he's ever.
Also, I saw another.
He said last week.
You know what's interesting too? Quick, I saw this. Saban is 25-2 straight up against assistants, but last year he lost to 2 of them in Jimbo and Kirby.
Yep.
So he had 25. Now is Sark the guy to get him? I don't know, but. I would love to see the margin of victory in those 25 games as well. Does he pour it on?
He usually wins pretty. I remember a lot.
He can if Sark, he's gonna remind them grass isn't always greener, especially after losing 2 to Kirby and Jimbo. So I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, one stat I saw, I forget the exact number, but it was basically when they laid 20 plus to FBS teams, Power 5 teams, they smash them. That essentially the stat leaned more towards when they play the Utah States, the the FCS team. Those are the teams they kind of pull back on. I remember it was who they played a couple years ago. It was USC. They played early.
52-6.
Absolutely smashed them. I think this is. I don't know. I'm not saying 52-7, but I think I think Ewers is going to be really good. Your second start playing this Bama defense is fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's not like they also showed out last week either.
No, against and ULM Monroe.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I love my hometown, but it ain't.
But that's what's scary.
I just think, like I said, not 52-7, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Bama won this game by 35.
Other thing I keep coming back to, and the biggest thing I've hated on Texas going back to 2010 is the offensive line play. I mean, they've had one O-lineman go to the NFL. So they addressed that, and they had this great offensive line recruiting class finally. But, man, they got, 3 freshmen out there? I mean, they might be 5-star kids.
That's scary.
Those are 18-year-olds playing against Bama.
It's Will Anderson, and
that's what we always look at in the lower conferences is, returning, men against boys on the line in the trenches. It plays, too, in the big things as well. You're saying these Texas kids are 5-stars. Bama's got men going up against them.
Yeah,
that's
5-stars that are grown-ass men.
Yeah. It's also tactical types. They haven't seen, I worry about Texas as well. I think that, like you said, to that point, to start it, can they fight? Yeah, they can fight a little bit. I don't think they can win.
I'm just afraid for them that they just immediately get just overwhelmed. Just totally overwhelmed. I mean, it's just a tough, and like I said, it's not a shot at me saying Texas is bad. It's just not a good. It's fucking Bama. It's
Yeah.
Bama.
No, I think it's kind of an underwhelming Saturday if you look at that.
You got a few that are interesting though. I know what you're saying. There's a lot of like FBS, FCS games. Like week one, a lot of people play tougher week one games and are backing off. Next game I want to touch on very briefly. Kelly and Megan are going. Missouri at Kansas State.
This might be the best, most competitive game of the week.
I agree. I'm leaning Missouri plus 7.5 here, actually, because K-State, while they're good, they're notorious for playing close games. Adrian Martinez threw, 53 yards last week? Did I see that right?
Well,
they were winning, though.
Yeah, they could run all over them.
Yeah.
I don't think they showed much last week. The thing with Kansas State, and I love Kansas State, you're better off getting Kansas State as a plus sign or a small, like, hey, they're -1 or they're -2. The only team that Kansas State really, like, blows out is Kansas. The rest of them, like, I agree. Like, when you put this line at 7.5, it's a pass for me. I'm rooting for Kansas State for the win total and obviously the Big 12, to win the Big 12. But 7.5 here, I think it's either they win by 21 or lose outright. Like, it's a weird line. I don't like Kansas State -7.5. In games like
I think it's going to be a fight. Missouri's got a really underrated defensive line. I think that's going to keep them in this game. I don't know if Missouri wins, but I lean the 7.5.
Yeah, I probably won't bet it, but yeah, I would agree. I'd take the points.
Like you were on K-State last year to open the season against Stanford, right? It was -1.5.
They won big. It was 24-7.
That's a great spot. You're like, all right, basically all I got to do is win here, and Kansas State is better than – okay, I'll do that. But now you start to put 7.5 or, they're laying 10 to a bottom-of-the-road Big 10 team. Oh, I'm sorry, Big 12 team. That's why they keep them in the game. Like, you want to get Kansas State with plus signs or very small numbers. It's just how they are. I agree with you with the close games.
All right, next one I want to hit on, we talked about this one earlier the other day, but I want to talk about it a little more, and this is South Carolina at Arkansas. This is an early game, too. Arkansas is a 9-point favorite. My instincts are going off to like Arkansas here. I think everybody's on South Carolina. I'm also one of the I know Ebo loves Rattler so much. I'm not as much a believer, but Rattler's definitely a lot better than that Cincinnati quarterback last week. I can guarantee you that. But just something about this game, I feel like South Carolina seems like a pretty public pick here at +9. But maybe that's just in this room.
Yeah, I was Mincy. I was starting to feel a little bit the same way as you. Maybe not fully flipping on Arkansas, but I was starting to feel those everyone's on South Carolina vibes. I need to look at kind of where the money's at. I think I'm still leaning towards I'm going to bet on South Carolina just because I think it's too many points. Like you kind of pointed out, I think Rattler's much better than Ben Bryant. I mean, I think they're a better team than Cincinnati. Like I didn't come out of the game super impressed with Cincinnati. I came out of the game saying I don't think Arkansas is great. I think they're decent.
I think KJ Jefferson's going to really struggle to throw the football.
Okay,
I think
he
so
really
too.
struggled against Cincinnati, and South Carolina
played better
was
in the
very
second half.
good last week.
He played better in the second half.
Like you're going to give me 8-9 points here. I think I'm going to still take South Carolina to see what happens.
Okay, that's look. I'm not saying that's not fair. I just think it's an interesting line.
No, I don't blame you because I agree. I was starting to feel that energy of like the world's on South Carolina, but I think sometimes also we get lost in this room where we're all so in touch with it.
We're also contrarian gamblers. A lot of us are like Marty. I know you're a contrarian gambler.
We're always looking for that like contrarian spot where I like to see how like just a guy walking down the street that's in accounting. How does he see the game? You know what I mean? It's different mindset.
Ev, to answer your question, about 80% of the money is on Arkansas. About 70% of bets are on Arkansas.
Really? That high?
So very heavy on Arkansas.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, I think Ev.
That makes me feel better.
Ev's point's right then. Like what?
Yeah, but so who did Arkansas be last?
Cincinnati 31-24.
Think about casuals like Cincinnati was in the playoff last year, and then you think about Arkansas beat them, so they got to be really good. And South Carolina's not ranked. Like that's how I think. Not us people in tune with it are thinking.
No, I think that's fair.
Well, no, but that's you're right, bro. Sometimes we're in this room and we think about it too much.
What happens is too,
and we change it. Like the Rams, all of us last night. Same.
What happens is there's 6 of us that think it, and we're like everybody's on. Bro, there's 6.
That's 6 out of like 6 million people that are analyzing the game.
You know what has turned to a little bit is Van Pelt's obviously got that segment where he's picking the dogs. Before the segment, you can kind of tell who he's going to pick. Like the trend, like
yeah.
So like you kind of, so I think that affects it too. Like I think that's why I think a lot of people are on Stanford. I think you could be wrong sometimes with the dogs.
I'm on Stanford.
Like I do,
we'll get to that game, but
I think he looks
like Stanford.
Like you can kind of tell which way he's going to go. So I get your point of why they're a trendy underdog. I'm on South Carolina as well.
Quick one, UTSA.
All South Carolina.
Quick. Like I'm sticking with Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
UTSA by 2.5 at Army. I'm bringing this game up. UTSA is good. Ev, you talked about
really good. I like him a lot.
It's just this set's horrible for them.
I know.
They got gutted last week, and now they're laying 2.5.
This game, I don't like him a lot. I like him a lot as a football team in general.
Yeah,
I was gutted for them that they lost last week because I really thought they had a chance to be the best Power 5 team if they won that game. I think Houston still could be it as well.
Or ground four.
Or what is it? Yeah,
I know what you meant.
I'm in Group of 5. Yeah, Group of 5.
I know what you meant.
I think the line is screaming.
I know. I think I got to take Army.
I hate it because I don't hate. I love Army too, but I love UTSA. I just got a soft spot for them. I'll probably stay away just out of I just like them both a lot, but I think the line says Army.
I love some of the Army for the record, but I think it's key here for UTSA to get out to an early lead.
They did last time.
If they're gonna go, I know
Army, I agree with you.
Army
can't
play.
it.
Like
For
you
sure.
have to push the gas here and get up because Army just doesn't throw the ball. So you got to then if they do one drive to nowhere, that hurts them as well. I think UTSA has to come out with a lead here, or they're dead.
Do you have a favorite member of the Army?
I like the coach.
Shout out Jeff Monken.
I think the coach is good.
The range is hot. What a line.
Yes.
The range is hot is unbelievable.
Very quickly on App State A&M, Texas A&M -19 on the Barstool Sports, but I actually kind of like A&M after what happened to App State last week.
What's the line you said?
A&M's 19. It's a lot to lay with the A&M shaky quarterback thing, but their defense looks good, and I'm also just kind of going, that's a tough one for App State. They have to go on the road to College Station. I know it's only one weekend, so you don't want to overanalyze that, but I don't know. I feel like you're kind of ripe for a beating after what just happened.
Over.
I
know Brandon's on the under.
You think King's going to get it together? I think
he's got it. They look like shit
A&M's
last
D's
week.
good, though. A&M's got a good team.
Yeah, I know, but App State is going to press and press and press. And if they can't stop anybody, maybe this is the time for A&M to go they're laying 20, right, in a 52 game. So we talk about it all the time. Like, what do we think A&M is going to score?
It's going to be
Chase Bryce is was a Power 5 quarterback.
With a ton of experience.
Don't get me wrong. A&M's defense great, but you think they're just going to automatically shut out App State? I can't go get 14? I can't get 17?
No, I think
I'm on the over. I know it's everyone and then their mother in A&M defense. It's a big spread. It's a low total. I'm with the over.
The next game, this is the one, I'm not going to lie. I know this is like me copping out. I just really don't have a feel on this. Tennessee is 6 in Pittsburgh. Over-under's hot, 65. Pittsburgh won a thriller in Knoxville last year when Pickett really got going. That was early in the year. What's interesting to me on the Tennessee front, a lot of momentum with Hooker. Vegas has a massive power rating on Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for them to be laying 6 on the road.
It opened? It opened like 3 or 4 and just skyrocketed up. And it's came down. It got up to 7, 7.5. Now it's down to 6, 6.5 now. So, I mean, it's kind of been all over the place. I like Pitt personally.
Do you?
I think I'm going to be betting on Pitt.
I was really impressed. Pitt.
I think Pitt and the over.
Pitt's home field was unbelievable in the backyard brawl. I feel like off that win, it ought to be really good again.
And I think Tennessee, listen, I think their offense looks very prolific. I mean, Ball State's atrocious. Yeah. I think it was hard to. I think there's only so much you could take away from just beating the brakes off Ball State at home.
There's also a thing, I was talking about the Tennessee power ranking. Tennessee, these spread offense teams that score infinity against crappy teams, when you win by 40 or 50, that's why this power rating gets used.
Agreed.
And it makes these lines 3 or 4 points higher when they play. Like Chip Kelly, Oregon was just like this back in the day when they'd win 63-7 against bad teams. But then they play good teams. And
I remember Arizona, it felt like had their number on Thursday nights. Coming in, Oregon's averaging 45 points, and you just watch, and it looks like they're stuck in mud. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
Stanford was doing to them.
Them too. When the spread offense, you're right. When the spread offense settles down, it doesn't just go from 40 to 30. It goes from 40 to 0. It feels like they just hit the complete. If you can get their number, it's. You're right. It's all in or all out. It's weird.
So you're leaning Pitt.
I even think they're like a live dog to win.
Pitt plus 180 money line.
I'm definitely. I don't know if I'm going to take the money line. Definitely taking the spread. Spread will be on the card.
Okay. Yeah, I just keep going back and forth. I can't.
I'm on Pitt.
Pretty positive Kelly has Pitt as one of the 3.
Okay.
It was when I saw immediately when I saw the line get up to 7. I was like, it's just laying 7 on the road at Pittsburgh is just not a.
It's a watch. It's a watch for me. I would lean over. I would be.
I didn't like Pitt. Okay, so last year Mark Whipple left and went to Nebraska. I didn't like Pitt was a weird mix going under center, and I had the shotgun last week. I didn't know what was going on with like their identity as an offense. And I know like Narduzzi hated the all pass all the time, all gas thing. I don't know. I was a little worried. That was a little concerning.
Yeah, Pickett. What's he supposed to do?
That's true. Next up, really good game here, Houston, Texas Tech. I know last year we all talked about Houston was up 21-0 and blew this game. Texas Tech, a 4-point favorite at home. Joey McGuire, a big hit in Texas. New Texas Tech coach came over from Baylor as an assistant. Houston coming off a gut check, great triple overtime win last week at UTSA. I mean, I'm kind of surprised Houston's catching 4 here, to be honest.
The lines went up too. I think it opened. It was like 2.5. And I kind of like Tech.
It's a make or break game for Tech.
I kind of like Tech. I mean, they came through. Almost part of it's that I bet them last year and they were down 21-0. They came through for me in the same spot. But also, this is also another. It's the ranked versus dogs unranked on the road. I wish I would have caught it 2.5, 3. Now it's up to 4. I would have liked that football number, but. Not sure if it's going to be official play, but I'd say a strong lean Tech, maybe even on the card.
I don't have anything to add on that one.
It's a scary game. I just don't even want to.
Kind of a rivalry thing. I mean, I know that they're not in the same conference. But those Texas games are.
I have heard Texas Tech's offense can be something to watch. Like they're expecting big things. So
they played somebody shitty week, but they beat the fuck out of them though last week.
Next game, college football show headed to Iowa City for Iowa State, Iowa. Iowa's a 3.5-point favorite. Can't say I'm shocked by the massive over-under 40 on this one after the 7-3 Iowa win last week where they had less than 170 yards.
It should be 30.
Do we have a line
lower?
This is a fun one. Do we have a line on no touchdowns in this game?
So, Ev, y'all heading to Iowa tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning.
College football show. I actually like Iowa a good bit in this game. I kind of think it's one of those. It's hard to lay 3.5 in a rivalry game when so few points are going to be scored. That is part was what makes it tough. But I feel like going through the last 10, 15 years, even these good Matt Campbell teams, even like his best teams have lost in the series. Iowa's gotten the best of them.
Won the last 6.
Yeah, and then some. And I also think everybody saw how bad Iowa was last week, and it makes them the play this week almost because nobody – I thought it would be – South Dakota State's good. I thought it was going to be – I didn't think it would be 7-3, but, I thought it could be an uglier game last week. I'm not really adjusting what I think of Iowa off that. I think they're going to win this game.
I expected a shitty game from Iowa every single time, but they're not. Their defense is always going to be pretty good. So I like Iowa as well here. I think everyone's going to kind of want to be on Iowa State because they saw that game on.
Iowa State lost a lot. I know they've had a lot of good. Lost Breece Hall. They're kind of. They're not Campbell's a great coach and he coaches them up, but they're not like recruiting 5-star athletes. So when they lose like those top guys, replace them is not as easy at Iowa State as it is, for other schools.
Who was under center for Iowa? His kid name's Petrus, right?
Yeah, he's been there. Yeah. He's been there for a while.
I have heard some murmurs that he might not be starting this week. I think they might do a change.
I wouldn't be shocked after last week.
After 170
it's definitely being floated that he might not start.
Okay, well, I still am leaning Iowa. I just wish it was 3. I would feel a lot better at 3. When the points, when you take Iowa, you're hoping to win 24-10 or whatever. They're not scoring a whole ton of points. As we continue to move through this card, I'm trying to touch on all the big games. If y'all have any other ones, feel free to bring them up. Next one, man, this Florida-Kentucky boys. Yep. Florida, it's a sold-out swamp. They're obviously Gator Nation's back. They're pumped. How could you not be after the thriller last week? But for Florida to be laying a full 6.
Lines went up.
Yeah, like 4.5. I said before, I thought if Utah beat Florida, I would like Florida on the bounce back against Kentucky. But now that Florida won that game and now they're getting all this love, I'm not comfortable laying 6 here. That's a lot of freaking points.
So
I feel like it's gonna be a close game.
I went back. I didn't get to watch it live, or only.
If you're watching Ohio State,
some of it. So only some of it. The Kentucky game. Florida, I got to watch the whole game. Kentucky, not as much. I went back and watched a lot of the highlights from the Kentucky game. They did not look good at all. They got some, basically they were, it was pretty much tied. Or I think they were up maybe 7, or they were up a little bit in the first half. They returned the kickback for a touchdown in the second half. They scored some short field turnovers. Their offensive line, they had a really good offensive line last few years, Kentucky. Miami was getting to Levis quite a bit. If anyone has time, go on YouTube and there's some accounts that do some good jobs getting basically giving you like a 20-minute version of the game. I did not think like they had, I was impressed with Kentucky. They had some decent playmakers that filled in for guys like Robinson. That was a concern for me. But I thought the offensive line looked much worse than it had the last few years. Listen, Miami was getting a lot of pressure on Levis, a lot of sacks. I didn't think they looked very impressive, to be honest with you. They covered, but I guess there was a kick return, short field touchdown, like on turnovers. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one because I really want to bet it. And my knee-jerk early was to bet Florida, and I still kind of feel that way. But I'm afraid the world's going to be on Florida, and I don't love that. I'd say I'm currently undecided, but leaning Florida.
I still don't totally believe in Levis.
I don't at all.
Yeah, that's in my head. All of you guys have said that. Brandon has said that as well. And the main question I had, too, you touched on it. If Florida didn't beat Utah, what would the line be?
And that game was a dead.
Not 6.
So
I know that.
it's definitely not. So me and
I
Brandon.
don't love Kentucky, but now I'm just betting a number. Like
Me and Brandon disagreed on this. He thought they wouldn't be favored. I think they would have been favored regardless.
Oh yeah, I think
Florida's.
I think they would have
2.5 or 3
and a half.
No, I agree. Less
They would be-
100%. But
Yeah.
I think they would have been favored no matter what.
What if they look like
also-
shit against you? I mean, it's all hypothetical.
I mean, if they got like smoked by Utah,
But
I think it's like a pick 'em.
obviously you have to
It should not be 6.
almost.
I
I
think
think a
it's
bit of an
almost-
overreaction.
Do you think so though? People have
I just
fucking
don't think
Utah.
Kentucky's that good.
People have Utah in their like the playoff. Like they have.
Did as well.
I still
yeah.
think they
I'm
have a
saying
chance.
like if they beat them,
I think Utah's a very good team. Like I think that was a really, really good win by Florida.
That's why I think it kind of makes sense that it is 6. It's
That's I might lay it. Like call
I
me,
like
I
Florida,
might
yeah.
lay it with Florida. I'm not out of the question.
Before we get to our next game, boys, let's talk about the game that's taken the nation by storm. Fowling. It's a rowdy mashup of football and bowling. First team to knock down all 10 of their opponents' pins wins. Born at the Indy 500 in 2001, Fowling is wildly popular in the Midwest where it all started, and it's taking the nation by storm. It's anyone's game. Tight spiral, granny roll, underhand. You don't need to be a quarterback to win. Bonks win the game in just one throw, but you've got to give the other team one last chance before you can claim victory. If on any player's first throw of the game, with all 10 pins still standing, the red pin is knocked off the board, well, then that's a bonk. Easily stored within latching boards, the set comes with everything you need. 20 weighted pins, 2 boards, 1 football, pump, and endless fun. So upgrade your tailgate by using code BARSTOOL20 for 20% off, plus free shipping on a Fowling set at playfowling.com. That's playfowling.com to enhance your tailgate.
Not only that, guys, we also have some awesome merch.
Do it. Okay.
For fall.
Oh, yeah.
Football merch.
Fall merch is out in the Barstool store. Do not forget about that. I'm personally partial to the Man I Love Fall, not G-Bag stuff, but that's certainly not all that's there. Make sure you check out the Barstool store. We've got team merch for a heck of a lot of colleges.
Football guy.
Yeah, we got the Man I Love Football, the Man I Love Fall. We've got a whole crap ton of stuff at the Barstool store. You can follow the Barstool store on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Yeah, the Viceroy stuff's
The
sick.
college shirts are sick.
Yeah, a lot of NIL stuff helping out college athletes too. So
Yeah, we even got the
allowing-
Man Iowa Loves Football tee now. And you know what? It's about to be hoodie season too. And we've got all these shirts, I believe, in hoodies, or a lot of them in hoodies as well. I'm looking forward to. I've been digging this weather here this last few weeks, guys.
Yeah, it's been nice.
It's been nice, and we're gonna have fall weather here before you know it. Getting back to the Barstool Sportsbook, we got a couple other games to touch on. That's most of the big ones. I have a strong opinion on a 7:30 Eastern kickoff. I think Oklahoma State alternate line. I think they're gonna beat the shit out of Arizona State.
I'm on that over as well.
I don't think Emory Jones. Ugh.
Oklahoma State's defense just scares me a little bit.
Yeah, but Emory Jones is so much worse than Richardson. That Central Michigan quarterback is.
Sanders looks like Sanders of like an Oklahoma State quarterback and Gundy's teams that score 50 every week.
I thought he looked better than he did last year.
The other thing too to consider, I think it's kind of like a little bit of a now Central Michigan just didn't quit and didn't stop fighting, but that score was also 51-15 at one point.
You know, they were up huge for sure. They were up big, really big.
Do you?
I think it was even like 37-7 at one point.
like
half.
that.
Or they scored right before half to make that.
I don't think their defense is as elite as it was, but I think there's a little bit of an overreaction to they were killing them with the score. With that said, I'm on the over because I think, like you said, Oklahoma State can score a ton. I think the defense takes a little bit of a step back. Arizona State's got to do something for me. I like the over.
So that's a very interesting. Okay, You may have found something here because last week the over-under was around the same. This one's 57.5. Because of Nolas, who's doing dude, by the way, awesome job at Ohio State.
Yeah.
First game, the halftime adjustments, shut out Notre Dame second half. Oklahoma State's totals might be down the first few weeks with their defense falling a little bit. Used to the old school Oklahoma State shootouts, the high ones, they're still in the 50s right now. Rico, I like what you're seeing there.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch because the Big 12 used to be standard like 60. If you were starting at 60, it was like, did they mark this wrong? Like, are you guys nuts? And then the Big 12 last year, for the most part, I would say was in the 50s because everybody was playing defense. I think we're working our way back to the Big 12 being a shootout.
Ev, the game you said you wanted to mention and talk about, USC's laying 8 in Stanford. I wonder if Stanford's growing out the grass again, get that tall-ass grass to slow them Trojans down. It's interesting. Stanford's given them this has been a big problem for USC through the years. This series, going back to when Stanford won as a 42-point underdog in 2007. It's been a big – Stanford's won a lot of these games. Stanford's not very hyped this year.
They got a good quarterback.
He was a 4-star.
He threw a lot of picks at the end of the year, though, last year.
Yeah, but he's like a legit NFL guy. When I just see this game, I just think it just looks so easy for USC. Like, it's like, oh, they're laying 8 on the road, conference game. I think Stanford has a chance to be better in the trenches. I think they could grind it out and win that way. Like, run the ball, grind it out, keep it out of Caleb Williams' hands. I think that's the route to victory. I honestly think they even could be like a potential like live dog. I've said it kind of the offseason. I'm not really buying the USC like hype train this season. I think they'll be good. I'm not saying they're going to go like 7-5. I think they're going to lose a couple games though, and I think maybe this could be one of them. I don't just go into Stanford like you said. Keep that grass tall. I just think they're very sexy on paper. Because they have the big offense. They have Lincoln Riley. They have Caleb Williams. They have Jordan Addison. They brought the kid Dye from Oregon, who was a good running back. So I see there's lots of like there. But I just think there's a good chance they could play some of these teams and get out physicaled. And I think maybe this could be a spot where it happens. Well, I think I'm going to be playing Stanford with the points.
Here's just something to add to what you're saying. So if the game you're envisioning in your head is Stanford, time of possession, longer drives, grinds it out, Stanford money line and the over-under is huge at 67. Stanford money line and under parlay, because if the game you're envisioning is Stanford slowing it down, etc. Stanford money line and under 67 is 4.8 to 1. That's just interesting because that's obviously the reason I bring that up is that's the game you're envisioning.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate that. Cause my only thing is the reason. Like I see that definitely a possibility. But the reason I like Stanford so much is that even though I think they can do that, like I said, I believe in McKee. I think they have a good quarterback that can throw the ball. So I do believe they're going to be able to make plays in the air when they need to, potentially. That's why I have like some trust in them enough to make it like an official play.
All right, couple more games. Baylor at BYU. Walt Brandon's talked about how much he likes BYU a lot.
Love
this
BYU.
is at 10:15 Eastern. BYU a 3-point favorite at home here. I love them too. I just think, look.
You think that's public?
I love USC.
It could be.
We're all because I'm.
But the only things I think maybe not is that Baylor's ranked ahead of BYU and they're dogs.
And they won the Big 12 last year and the Sugar Bowl.
Big 12.
And the Sugar Bowl beat
Provo is such
your name.
Provo is such a fucking hard place to go play. So hard to go play. Whiteout, it's rowdy.
Yeah, they're all
There's
pent up.
fucking nothing else to do.
None of them have sex.
Tons of semen in their ball sacks.
Yeah.
Not getting released.
They're all older.
Yeah.
They're all older.
Grown men that have been on missionary trips, and I think they win by like 2 touchdowns.
That's interesting. What do you think about an alternate line on that? Like, I've been playing around with these alternate lines whenever you have like a strong read on a game. Like, what's wrong with throwing BYU by 6.5 here? Then?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Not even going that crazy, but like doing the 6.5. You're changing a minus to a plus sign.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
No, I've been firing some of those alternate lines. And like on Pick Central too, where Rico, you always talk about how it kind of sucks. We can only do one unit. You can like throw the alternate line in on a game you like. You know, that's another way to kind of get a little more on it. But I like BYU. Baylor's quarterback, Chapin, did play well. You know, at the end, what's interesting, I called a couple of his high school games. He was a Shreveport guy. He was a shortstop in baseball. He's got a big arm. He actually wasn't like that great in high school and kind of snuck into kind of like snuck into Baylor. He wasn't like a super huge recruit. But anyway, of course, that's just me making a tidbit to calling that game. All right, but I do like BYU. All right, Oregon State, Fresno. Oregon State's now a 1-point favorite, Ev. I'm smelling rats all over the place and liking Fresno State in this game. I know Oregon State made a huge statement last week. I feel like Boise's a lot more of a name brand than actually what we're used to, especially with the new coach.
Got fucking benched.
Yeah, they got a new coach this year, too. I love Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. I think he's done a spectacular job. But at Fresno, getting one at home. And Fresno also last week, I know they kind of – that was a scrimmage. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I really maybe what I should have looked at a little bit more too was having Oregon State on deck. I don't think they showed him anything.
Yeah.
There was just apathy in that game. They scored 21 in the first quarter to show, all right, let's get out to a lead that we know what, like, we could play 8 quarters. We ain't giving this lead up at 21. And they just didn't show them anything. They didn't score in the second quarter. Didn't really nothing. 14 points in the second half. Showed them nothing. Makes me like Fresno here a little bit. The more and more we're talking about this card, I do think there's especially the late games. This one's going up against Baylor, BYU, right?
Yeah, and then and the next game is we're going to talk on Mississippi State, Arizona. It's the last game to touch on. And Mississippi State,
it's nothing like having still you still have 3 late that you got to keep your eye on.
Mississippi State, they're from the 10 o'clock Central kickoff here. 11 Eastern. This game's going to end at 3:30 in the morning Eastern time.
I love Arizona.
It's a weird one.
Also, I love Fresno.
Yeah, I'm about it. I mean,
no, just wanted to say I love Fresno in the game. I'm definitely going to be betting them. Love Arizona. I think they might become like my darling this. If they cover this game, they're officially my darling this year. I bet on them last week. They smoked San Diego State on the road. I think they might be like the most improved team in FBS this year potentially. Last year they were terrible. They have Jane Delora, who was Washington State's quarterback. He looked great last week. I just think 11's a lot, and kind of what you mentioned too, like Mississippi State having to go all the way to Arizona, play a late night game like that. I just don't think. Also, there's a weird line too. It opened at like 6, I think, and jumped to like 11 or like 12, and then got bet down a little bit once it got big. I think they can keep this game within 10. I don't see why not.
It's a weird.
I'm definitely playing Arizona.
It's just a weird one for State to schedule and have. And look, I'll give I like to bag on Mississippi State obviously, but they looked really good last week. They beat the crap out of Memphis. I mean, they dominated that game. But this is just a weird one to me.
Is that you touch on Memphis? Is that speaking of weird lines?
I think Memphis sucks, by the way.
Okay. Navy fucking sucks too.
Yeah.
I didn't give out that win total. I wrote it down under 4.5. I looked at them, and style of play. Like again, if you get down running, Navy's bad. Memphis only -6. The Navy or 6.5. Is that a little weird?
They both are probably true.
Yeah, I just feel like Memphis and Navy used to be at the top of that conference every year. I think Memphis has really fallen the last few years. I know, they had some really good teams. Maybe they need to go get Fuente back now that he's gone. I mean, they probably should.
Yeah,
'cause he was great there. But
yeah, Paxton Lynch. Who was the other one they had after him?
Brady White, right? Brady White. Yeah,
it was not. I mean, he had crazy. And they sent Anthony Miller, great receiver.
Yep.
All the running backs.
Kenneth Gainwell.
Henderson.
Yep.
No, they've sent some dudes to the league, but they've fallen off super huge. So that was running through the Saturday card.
One game I wanted to say too.
Oh, go for it.
I love BC on the road. I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech.
Malasek likes them as well.
Love BC. I think they're +3. Actually, it was 3.5. I think it might be down to 2.5 now. I think they win the game.
I love
I'm not
them
worried
too.
about it.
Yep.
They not to hate on my Rutgers guys. Great gritty win. They probably should have beat Rutgers. I think they're going to win. I just think Virginia Tech is awful. I don't think it was a fluke they lost to Old Dominion. I think they're just not good. I think BC comes in and beats them up pretty good.
What the one I was looking at? So what Power Five's like most likely to get upset? Rico, I know you like looking at that. I think Georgia State's got a real shot against Carolina.
Yeah.
I think they got a real shot.
Is it low?
7.5. But
yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask this: what the hell is North Carolina's athletic director doing on the road back to back against Sunbelt teams to start the year?
Yeah, wild.
Who booked this crap? Like literally, hey man, we're an ACC Power 5 team. You know what we're gonna do weeks 1 and 2? We're gonna go to Boone, North Carolina, and Atlanta to go take on the Sun Belt on the road.
Please show the Sun Belt a little bit of respect, Miss.
I do like the Sun. My boy's the assistant commissioner. Sun Belt's a good best.
Honestly, no, I think he was. I think he's saying it's high risk, low reward.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is
how
how does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you.
I think like maybe the COVID years got fucked up with the return games. I don't know. I know
Sort
they
of get
scheduled
maybe he's
5
going to
years in
Atlanta,
advance.
Carolina.
I truthfully, it's one of those. It's so weird. I don't like. There is no explanation. I'm interested to know
It's
how
got
it
to
came
be like
about.
an attendance issue, right? Like, isn't the ACC probably maybe outside the Pac-12 like more lower attended games than like Big Ten, like SEC?
I sorta get-
Big
Yeah,
12.
but you want you to not open at home in the first 2 weeks. All the Power
They
Five.
played Fort A&M week 0.
Oh, they did. Right. All right. Yeah. Well,
Well, what's interesting? Okay, I get kind of the sort of get the going to Georgia State because you're recruiting Atlanta. You know, I could see that because Atlanta's such a high school football base. So that kind of makes sense. It never makes sense to go to Boone, North Carolina if you're North Carolina. I mean, you're just asking for it with that one. But either way, my thing with North Carolina, and y'all saw it last week. I mean, these overs are. Does anybody like this over too?
Yes.
Georgia State.
I think I'm betting UNC over so they stop making money.
If your
They're not
defense,
profitable.
if your defense is as bad as Carolina is,
And they're going to score. Like, they're going to score.
you can lose. You can
I
lose
had
on the
the
road
Southern-
any game.
I had Georgia State, South Carolina over because I did think Georgia State could score. They left some points on the board as well.
I think South Carolina's defense is a lot better than UNC's is.
Agreed. Well, I think
It's a lot of. I'm saying
four of us on a
sig-
defensive line may
yeah,
be better
for
than
sure.
fucking North.
I'm saying significantly better.
Okay. Well,
I think personally.
that was kind of one of the ones I was looking at. You said Stanford might could beat USC. I could see that. I could see
think
that
they can.
logic because I was saying the same thing about USC. They
I also
seem like
think-
a flashy.
I think South Carolina can beat Arkansas.
My best bet is USC. I know that might be a problem, but
I mean,
I don't know. I just think I kind of equated. I said it the other day too. I just think USC has too like Stanford could slow them down when they slow them down for a little, but I think USC could score 21 points and still. I equated a little bit to like Virginia basketball. You know how they slow people down for 36 minutes and score 50 points, and then for the last 4 minutes they get shut out on an 8-2 run and the team wins 58-52. Like if Stanford, like I just think USC things have to go so right for Stanford to win this game.
But I don't totally agree where like USC, like we just, and you could say it kind of about both teams. Like we haven't, it's week 2 for each of them. But like USC, I'm just not going to give, I think their offense is going to be explosive, no doubt. But I just can't buy like totally into like they put 60 on Rice, and I'm like,
I'm not
all
buying
in.
into that. I agree with you, but I do think they have way more athletes than.
Oh no, I think so. I think so too.
And so to that point, if I only score 10 in the first half, I need the one big play to get me if it's let's say it's tied at the half, I need the one play advantage. I need a field goal to go ice it. Like I
get this. I think this is definitely. I think we're gonna find out how good USC is, or at least like a starter of how good they can be, how good they are.
I think Lincoln Riley knows that too.
Knows what,
He has to show that they're good.
but fair. But it's as if they can. Like I think. It's easier said than
The
done.
game's going to be decided between the lines. I agree with you, but
Because I just think it's like I think because listen, if USC goes and wins by like 30, I'm gonna be like, all right. I'll be like, all right, maybe they're for real.
yeah, Lincoln's not letting it. They're not sneaking up on them. They're ready to. They know they have to go play this game. Also, Stanford has no. I know their attendance sucks anyway. There's no students on campus.
Yeah.
You think Vandy's got a chance?
Well, Sam Hartman's playing for Wake Forest.
That's
I would have thought
no
they
way.
did until they announced Wake Forest's quarterback.
The line jumped back up once it's like 12 and a half.
Yeah.
15, I thought I saw.
Just real fast. I'm sorry to change it to baseball really quick.
We can get it real quick.
Really crazy that the players voted against that banning the shift and the pitch clock, but it got overturned, and now next year you're not allowed to shift, and there's a pitch clock.
Is it not shift at all?
No shift at all. You have
No
to have
shift?
you have to have 2 players on both sides.
I thought it was just
That's
certain
the
restrictions on it.
stupidest. The players are the fucking people playing, and that is a part of baseball. Like that is someone that
Strategy is-
yeah. Like if a guy's pulling the ball, why the fuck wouldn't you put everyone on the right side?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I don't understand. So listen to the people playing, and it's implemented next year. So like it's coming, and
Well,
it's just stupid.
I agree with you. Just to play the devil's advocate from the decision maker side, I guess their mindset is more we care about like the fans.
Like the runs and
Yeah,
shit.
the fans are scoring runs. I think that's at least I don't agree with it, but I think that's the
Like
angle
baseball
they're coming
hasn't
from.
changed for so long, and they finally did the DH thing. Was everyone
Great,
wanted
for
that?
sure.
But why change this? Like that just I don't know. That pisses me.
No, they just want more runs. That's the only.
Now it's just weird because how do they? There's like, all right, like if you're a second baseman, you have to stand right there.
You
know what I mean? Like it's like you think about like what are they like? What are there like boxes that like you can't like think they're gonna have to put legit restrictions on like all right, you can only play.
You just got to be on the
like
side
this
of the
far
second
to
base.
So what they have for the
doing
minor leagues for that is they have like a paint or chalk line drawn, like almost like a foul line or like a foul ball line behind second base. So there's like going to be white lines maybe that you have to stay.
You basically just have to be on the side of second base. Like you can't be.
So then, like shortstop, third base just have to be on
that side. As long as you have two people on the left side infield, two people on the right side.
Okay,
infield,
got it.
That's it. And I just think it's a little crazy that, and the pitchers have 15 seconds to pitch.
Did you see the pickoff rule, Marty?
No, what was that?
Allegedly, you get 2 pickoffs, and then you get a third one, and if you don't pick him off on the third one, it's a balk. He gets
That's
second base.
fucking
That's
stupid.
crazy.
I never understood why fans boo our pickoffs. I never understood it. It's just a pickoff. It's part of the game.
I don't. That's a crazy rule.
Booing's.
They're literally like changing the whole game.
What a balk to pick off like the.
Were they gonna have metal bats next?
Yeah,
I mean, where's
picking
the
off.
edit, you know?
Picking off is fucking part of like making sure like that guy is not going to be comfortable on first base. That is
Ghost
stupid.
runners, just actual ghost runners.
Yeah, they're gonna have like
simulate it.
no, they'll have like beer league when the fat guy and has a bum leg and they have the kid run for him too. Like
Someone just takes
yeah,
off.
like Vogelbach's not gonna have to run anymore.
They had to veto pitcher's poison, actually.
What was that?
Pitcher's poison, it got vetoed. That was on the ballot as well.
All right, let's get to our picks for tonight. We do have a couple college football games tonight. I remember a year ago, the 6-iron kid just shoved it right in my face when I took Central Florida against Louisville. He said Louisville outright. They won. Last year it was a Friday night game. This year, rematch, week 2, Louisville coming off just a horrendous effort. I mean, losing 31-7 at Syracuse.
You talk to another team coming off loss too. Normally, this is a salivating pick with Boise laying against New Mexico. New Mexico has been horrific,
Yeah.
but things are weird. And like, I don't think Boise's is great. So and Louisville can't be that bad, right? Like tonight's gonna be weird. It's 2 weird games.
The thing with Louisville, all right, Satterfield, the coaches the App State got, they take a lot of like, I don't want to say malcontent transfers, but they'll take some guys. And so sometimes it can go bad with the chemistry stuff when you're like a little lenient on who you're taking, if that makes sense. And I don't know, just after that effort last week, and I think Central Florida is going to be extremely motivated. I like Central Florida tonight. And also, prop-wise, of course, I'm showing my bias because he's an Ole Miss guy. But I freaking love John Rice Plumlee over 55.5 yards rushing in this Malzahn offense. I wish there was a prop I could bet him for over 100 yards tonight rushing. He had over 1,000 yards rushing his freshman year at Ole Miss. This dude can run like crazy. That's a perfect fit for the Malzahn offense. I don't know. I'm all about this prop. I took Central Florida -6, Central Florida the alt line, and then I actually put together a parlay plus that's John Rice Plumlee over rushing touchdown, Central Florida, and the over. That's like plus 1050, and it's shared on there. So that's what I got for tonight. I just went all in on Central Florida, and hopefully I don't get burned on it. Marty Mush, what you got?
I got UCF as well as -6. I got New Mexico +17. They didn't have a good. They beat the shit out of someone.
Played Maine, but yeah, 41-0.
Yeah, that's I literally why I picked. I was like, God, 41. Maine's not terrible. They're not terrible.
FCS, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. They're always at the top of the FCS, kind of. Yankees money line and Rockies money line.
Okay. Yeah, what you got?
Yeah, I took UCF. I'm glad I got 5.5 last night. It might not matter, but UCF is my favorite play of the day. So this is one of those where I know it's like going to be very public. I don't care. I think they're much better. Also, I think I said this the other day. Good stat. Might have been from the Bear or somebody else on a good college football follow that I saw. I said yesterday or the other day. I'll say the stat again. It was like teams that lost as road favorites that had to go on the road again the next week are like 1-12-1 against the spread. And I just think it's a bad spot for Louisville.
Good nugget
to go back on the road. I think them losing the receiver. I think losing Tutu Atwell, and they lost the other kid that transferred to Bama. I can't remember his name right now. I think you saw them playing Syracuse. The receivers weren't open. The offensive line struggled. The offense as a whole struggled. I think they're going to be able to score more than they did against Syracuse in this game. But I think UCF is a better offense than Syracuse. I think UCF is going to be able to score a lot. I like UCF a lot. And then, I like New Mexico as well. I think obviously, it was tough to go for boys to go play Oregon State at Oregon State. That's a tough game, but it's a low total. 17 is a lot. I lean the under in that game as well. I might even
pretty low. It's 44.
I might even end up adding that under. But being the total so low, I'm going to take a shot at New Mexico getting 17.
New Mexico's been so dreadful, but
Yeah, it's at New Mexico too, so we'll see. Hopefully they keep it close.
Yeah, Rico.
yeah, I'm on the Rangers, Blue Jays over 8, the Orioles money line, and Cardinals. Cardinals runs over 4.5.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
All right,
Let's say that's an awful low total for.
yeah, hey, I got a great note. Listen, I'm on the Justin Fields book.
Weekend stuff, college football show tomorrow at Iowa City. What time is it starting?
So 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central. Super excited. Going to the game as well. Shooting a video in the fan section at the game and everything, so that's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Rico, you got a Fireball effort pick of the week?
I do have a Fireball effort pick of the week. I sat behind Mark Canna a couple of weeks ago. Mets are going to Miami. My boy Mark Canna had a home run tonight is plus 800. That's my Fireball effort pick of the day.
I believe Frank's down there Saturday, Sunday.
Listen, Frank's a fraud. Frankie Mouse is what they're calling him around here. He wouldn't take the bet. Wouldn't take the
What was
bet.
the bet?
I said, Frank, if we don't win the division, when we win the division, you have to wear Yankees gear for a year. He just
You should need to root for the Yankees.
root for the Yankees and wear Yankees gear for a year. He went, ooh. Didn't even say, consider what are you going to do? Just no. He knows we're going to win the division.
This pitch clock's gonna fuck up some. There's some big names of the slowest pitchers in baseball. That's gonna fuck up some people. Shohei Ohtani.
Thanks to our crew, Ebo, Za, Booze. Appreciate everything y'all do. Stay tuned. The Yak is up next. Live
Stanko
stream
as well.
Yes, for sure. My bad. I did.
No, you're good. I know.
I didn't see him. Live stream on Sunday for NFL Week 1. Kelly in Vegas and I, 10 a.m. Eastern college football Twitter Spaces tomorrow too. Check that out.